Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, okay, and wherever you are. Okay, now, uh, first of all, I would like to thank the people that sent me some messages. I was sick. If you don't know, I got stung by a bee in my head. Still not completely recovered, still heavily medicated. I had to go to the hospital. Thank God, I at least live in a country with a NHS where I can get treatment and not need to ask for financial support to do it. Okay, my taxes still paying for my NHS that a lot of Americans think it's free. No, we don't have free healthcare. We have a type of healthcare that is paid by all of our taxes, and for some services it's absolutely free. For other services, you pay according to your income. So I can say that I was well treated, well taken care of, at least until now, feeling much better. My head, like you saw in the pictures that I shared, I didn't share the worst of them all. My head was completely swollen. Uh, I am not allergic to anything, but it seems that it's some kind of type of issue with bee stings that's going around because the doctor, when I went this Sunday, so today it's oops, Mondays, Thursday, okay. This is Thursday, and when I'm recording this, the 15th of July, and the doctor told me I was the sixth person to go to the hospital with the same issue. Uh, I was a bit more unlucky because the damn bug spiked me right here in the vein. So in the first day, I felt normal. I'm not like I told you, I have been stung many times before. I'm a country boy, like we say. Uh, but in the other day, I woke up with my head completely swollen. I went into the pharmacy. They gave me some medicine that alleviated it a bit, but it didn't take care of the problem. So Sunday, I, on family coercion, my brother dragged me to the hospital. I don't like hospitals. Someday, sometime I will make a video and explain you why. And got got a nice the doctor's appointment, some analysis, to blood works, that stuff. Uh, and then nice injection in my butt, in muscular intramuscular injection to take care of businesses right now, and now medicine for about 5 days, and hopefully everything will go all right. But once again, thank you for your words of support. Now, I could have made a video about the spectacle that was the Champions Football League, okay, Chelsea and all of that. But I think everyone has talked so much about it, has mocked so much about the man, that I don't think it's worth it. He's becoming like some kind of a sad character in a bad sitcom, and I frankly am getting tired of all of it. Okay, the only thing I will have to say is congratulations to Chelsea and to their fans. And let's continue. I want to talk about something that is much more important. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about tourism. Let's talk about the real effect of the tariffs and a couple of things more. Of the tariffs, of this climate of suspicion, of this way of dealing with your allies, with the countries that have always supported you, even when you performed and did acts that shamed us all as your friends, but we stuck with you, we supported you, and for our misery, you stab us in the back. But this is a fluid operation, okay? We don't really know how this all of this will end. There's a lot of stuff we need to talk in the future, but for now, I'm going to try and focus in this aspect, which is tourism. Now, I know a lot about tourism. Uh, as I said, I'm the son of a baker. Okay, we had two bakeries. We produced bread, cakes, even pizzas, all of that. Okay, I know how to make it all too. If I was to be classified technically, I did that job until my late 20s, and I would be a first class baker, second class patisserie maker, and a pizzaiolo. I learned with an Italian pizzaiolo how to make pizzas. I know how to make all of that. So I know about this. Okay, we supplied camping parks, we supplied restaurants, cafes, supermarkets, all of that. Okay, hard job. It pays well, but it's extremely ungrateful because you don't have vacations, you don't have bloody nothing. And you work like a dog. And if you have an issue, like for example, we had with the death of my father and for management and all of that, business quickly goes down the drain. It was a lot of factors, and I don't want to talk about it because those are my personal matters. But just for you to understand that I have dealt with this all of my life, okay? And I have family that lives in tourist areas. Myself being part other things, okay? I have always spoken much more than my native language. I always talked with people from different cultures. I always dealt with all of that and with the tourist business and how they make their profit and how it works. First of all, tourism works in a basis of trust, meaning the trust that people have that in coming to your area where you do your business, there is conditions for them to spend a good time and not be bothered by dumb people and not to be disturbed. Okay, the type of tourism we have here is a tourism that is more focused on families. Okay, in going to a place, okay, having a good beach nearby, a clean beach. All of our beaches are clean. I think almost 100% of our beaches. Oh God, English is a very tricky language sometimes. All of our beaches, uh, they have the maximum pattern of quality in the European Union, the blue flag. Almost all of them. I don't. I think there's about one or two beaches in Portugal that are not good for people to use, maybe because they are near industrial areas, and some because are very dangerous. Okay, I myself, as a native of South Portugal, I know a lot of beaches that are hidden and that not even tourists know they are there, and they are dangerous if you don't know them and if you don't know how to swim. I learned to swim fairly young, so uh, you just have to be careful. Now, and know where you are swimming. But carry on. So I was talking about this trust. The tourist wants to revive. He wants to be relaxed. Wants to have a good, nice place to stay in. Maybe sometimes it's not it's the place the tourist can afford. Maybe sometimes it's just a room with a good bathroom to take a shower, to maybe a small den to just relax and watch some TV, enjoy the warm weather, go out, have a beer, or if you are with your family to just enjoy the beach. You want your kids to be safe. So, and Portugal has some issues like any country, but we have always been a fairly safe place for families. Family vacation, and we have everything from the low camping grounds, where you can lay a tent, and camping ground usually has some nice facilities. A lot of them, most due to the rules of the EU and of the country itself that already had those rules. Campings are usually nice places to be. They have showers, they have cafeterias, restaurants, safes for you to put your values in, a series of commodities that you can use. So you have everything from that, from the low ground where you can lay a tent or put a camping station. How do you call that? A camping. Okay, let's continue. I will remember or auto caravan or something like that. Okay, where you can be relaxed. Then you have some places with some bungalows. You have private rooms. You have B&Bs. You have all of that. Okay, it's a wide range. You have from the very very top of the notch hotels, where, for example, last Christmas, just this Christmas, there was some British tourists dining and spending Christmas there, and they were paying about 500 euros for 2 meals, okay, and 2,000 euros a night. Okay, you have from that peak of tourism down to the one of, for example, I don't know, a package vacations of about 200 euros for a week or something like that in a private small hotel or hostel or whatever. Okay, so just for you to understand, I have dealt personally. Fair warning, I have not lately. I don't know, 20 years, 2010, about 10 years from now back. I only deal with it in a secondary role, meaning I only deal with it when I talk with my family, when I talk with my friends, okay? When I sometimes get out and go and talk, go to back to my hometown, all of that, I have not dealt directly with it. But I can understand and know what is happening, okay? And I know what can drive a tourist to not come back to a place. And I'll tell you this, the very first thing a tourist might not return, might make that a tourist might never return is feeling threatened, feeling deceived, or feeling that I'm going to spend my time here and I'm not going to really rest. I'm not going to really have that relaxation feeling. Okay? And if a person pays from their hard earned money, that person, I don't care if the person is very rich, if the person is from the middle class, I don't care. If the person pays, the minimum that they want is at least that feeling. And how can you have that feeling right now in the USA? I'm asking you. Do you get it? That is the first thing. Because look, a tourist may go to the USA and absolutely nothing will happen. They will perhaps find things a bit more expensive, okay, or cheaper. Right now, 1 euro is $1.27, I think. So, slight advantage to the euro. So, my euros will be worth more than American dollars. So, I'll have a slight edge over it. But these are things I I don't believe in any. I don't know if it's possible. It's possible because in economics everything is possible, and I know it. But I don't believe that the de-dollarization of economies will be this fast. I think it's something that will unless there is some weird event like a sudden crash or something like that. I don't believe it will be something that will be quick. Okay, these are very slow processes. Unless you have a sudden crash or something like that, okay, economics tends to move along, okay, because business does not want too much disturbance. And what the economical practices and the economic policies of Mr. Trump and his government are doing right now is causing major disturbance. And business does not like that. And rather, either we like it or we don't like it, okay? Capitalism works when it has a bit of government control behind it, okay? When we have a government that cares about the society, the people, and this is not socialism. Shut the hell up with that damn, because every time someone says this, control, government control, either they think it's communism, socialism, fascism, whatever they any ism, but it has nothing to do with it. It has to do that the government has to give an environment in the country so that people can do business. And there are some people that will be wealthier, and there are some people that will be poorer. Okay? It's a fact of life. But you don't want obscene wealth like you see in a smaller degree in Europe, continental Europe, and in a systematic, almost oligarchic system. I believe it's already fully oligarchic in the USA and in the UK, and not just there. If you go to Brazil, for example, same shit. And I know there are a lot of Brazilians right now that are going to say no, 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 but no, we know. Okay, and you have a lot of people that are very extremely wealthy in the top. You have a small middle class, and then you have everyone else down in the bottom. Okay, it's better now. Yes, yes, much better, much better, much better. I have no doubts about it, but it still exists, and it's a snap of the fingers for the US to be in the exactly same position. Because once you remove that government break, that government control, that, for example, would compensate what is happening in the USA right now with charging taxes, taxing without mercy the rich. And there are some rich that want to be taxed, both in the USA and both in the UK. So we cannot we cannot pick up all the rich people, put them in the bag, and say they're all bad. Don't do that. And don't start with conspiracy theories. Don't start with all of that. Okay? Don't go that way. You have to follow the money trail, see what is happening, and analyze what is happening. Okay? That is how you debunk these type of things. And also, this is how you understand what is happening. Okay? Here in Portugal, too, you also have that. Okay? You also have uh, rich people that are too rich that should be that taxes should be higher. But you need government policies to balance that and balance the investment in the country that also provides jobs, that also provides indirect taxes, that also provides a lot of things. Okay, but that old story of Reaganomics, of the drip down economies and all of that crap, that does not work. Okay, if you don't tax a rich person, that person will accumulate that wealth and will not spend it. Okay, and now, after this short introduction for you to understand what I'm going to try to say now, we are going to talk about this part of the tourism. Now, I have some notes here. You can go, for example, there is a site, the travel.com, I think. I also saw it in some Portuguese sites, and the numbers are more or less the same. But for example, in 2024, 20 million Canadian tourists visit the United States. Okay, they say here, I saw a slightly higher number in other sites, but they say here 20.5 billion dollars supported. This is in the travel.com site. Okay, they supported around 140,000 American jobs. Then this is according to, they say, the U.S. Travel Association. So as we can pretty much figure out about this, okay, uh, 50% of Canadians visited the USA in terms of direct proportion, because the Canadians, as you, if you don't know, there are around 40 million people, I believe. So if you have 20 million visiting, this means that almost one one in each two Canadians visit the USA, spent money in the USA, and provided income and taxes to the USA states. Okay, now, and this year, as we all know, like the Europeans, they are boycotting not only US products but also visiting the USA. We have all seen the stories of horror from Florida, like in places like that. Okay, the B&Ds going down the drain, a series of things. Now, there are also, this I know, is that a lot of European tourists, for example, that used to go to the USA, I know some people that went there, they are instead going to Canada. Why? Because it's people, for example, here, they like to go to New York, to Florida, to Washington, to make a tour and whatever. Instead of going there, they can go to Canada. For example, go to Quebec. I would love to visit Quebec because I think I would like the culture. Okay, I'm also part French. Don't ask. But no, and even if they only spoke French, as long as they spoke slowly, je le comprends tout. Ce n'est pas un problème pour moi. Okay, but you can visit you can visit the Great North, a series of very interesting places in Canada where you can spend your money if you have money to go on such a vacation and enjoy your time instead of being in the USA. And a lot of tourists here have opted for that, or going to Mexico. But Mexico was already also a popular place to visit. Now, let's see. Let's me. I took a note here. They here ask questions. Why are they boycotting the US? For God's sakes, we all know about this. But I want to talk about numbers. Now, this I'm going to read verbatim from the site of the travel. Okay, so please visit them and please know this is not my contents. Okay, how much is the loss of international tourists costing the US in 2025? The USA is on a slippery slope, hurtling toward a 12.5 billion loss in international visitor spending for 2025. I heard numbers in the range of the 20 billion loss. Okay, just for starters, they say 12.5. I heard of numbers surrounding the 20 billion, even 21 billion dollars in loss. Okay. Uh, then they talk about this, the most recent economic impact research from WTDC and Oxford Economics discovered that international visitor spending to the US is expected to fall just under 169 billion in 2025, a total down significantly from 181 billion in 2024. This shortfall, as you can see, the numbers there are more in line with the numbers I was talking about, but 12.5 billion is now. Let's continue. This shortfall is a 22.5% decline compared to the previous peak. And of course, tourism in America is worried about it. Let me see just this. Yes, the CEO of the U.S. Travel Association, Geoff Freeman, said that they had 50 billion travel trade surplus, and that is now shifted to a 50 billion deficit. This is more in line with the numbers that I heard. A huge 100 billion reversal. This is brutal, my friends. These are brutal numbers. And let me just pause a bit here, not to get lost in my notes, and tell you this. These tourists, they will probably, most of them, at least half of them, won't return to US. So this is a market that you have lost because it's very easy. It's really very easy to get the market. Just have to create the conditions and then maintain them, meaning that what I was talking about at the beginning of the video about having a safe environment, okay, a good experience that might not be the most extraordinary experience, but just a good experience, okay. Relax, stretch your legs, okay. Back in the sitting, imagine this. I love this is one of my only favorite things in summer, okay, sitting in what we call uma esplanada, which is outdoor, some tables, okay, some chairs, a nice sombrero over you, okay. You sit down, you have your coffee, a nice espresso, perhaps pastel de nata, which is a traditional Portuguese sweet made with milfeul and cream. Okay, you eat that, you sit down, you drink the coffee, you just watch the world pass by. Okay, this is a good experience. Okay, and you don't spend that much money. Okay, I don't know, a coffee, at least in my area, it's still under €1. Of course, if you go to a tourist venue, it will be a bit hard. They will they will charge you a bit more. Okay, but there are still little coffees where you can just divert from the usual tourist track, sit down and have your nice coffee. But imagine this. Now you sit your coffee, you drink your coffee. You are going to remember that experience. Okay? You are going to remember to having that good time. And next year, if you are able, you are going to want to repeat that. But if you go to a place where number one, you feel unsafe. Number two, you don't know what the hell is going to happen in the border. Okay, you might have a JD Vance meme picture or some shit like that, and you might get arrested because they need to fill their quotas. They need to receive their government grants because those are private jails. Another thing I cannot understand. Okay, and you might find yourselves for a couple of days, at least a month, for them to charge the full price of your stay to the government, and your life completely turned upside down. You might have health issues and die, like that Canadian tourist that died. Okay, look, I speak by myself. Okay, now look at me. I'm a white lily guy. No, I even got now. Look, I have so many issues that I even uh, got burn in my fingers because it's the hand that I usually when I'm driving. You know that whole habit. I had to go and buy some sunscreen because I already put some sunscreen in my face and I forgot to put in my little hands. Okay, but imagine this: I am probably, I don't know, maybe the cliche of a white guy. Okay, and I would not travel to the USA. I wouldn't, because I would never be able to feel safe in such a place. And remember this: I'm the type of guy that, if, for example, I go somewhere else and I have traveled, mostly in Europe, okay, but let's just put it there, and I wouldn't, in the day before, I have everything prepared for the next day to travel. Okay, in that aspect, I'm very German. This is my mom. She always nagged me about this, so she still nags me. Thank God she's still here. And I would have everything absolutely prepared. I would have every piece of document. I would have copies. I would have contacts. For example, if I went to New York, I would not go to New York without having the contacts of my embassy, or of having my phone to be able to make a phone call or whatever. All of that, okay? Enough money, all of that, all of that, all of that, all of that, okay? And more than one source of money, for example. I'm that type of person. And I would not feel safe in the USA even if I did all of that. And I also would not allow a cop to go and search my internet store, internet history, all of them, my social media that I have barely none except YouTube, Discord account, and some emails. But I would not allow them to do that, okay? Because it's none of their fucking business. If around here, my government, to search anything in my social media or whatever, they need a court, a judge to allow them to do it, and they have to justify why they are doing it. They can ask it for me also, okay? Let's be clear. But they justify it to me. They tell me why. And then I go to a country, and just because I'm a foreigner, a tourist that is going to that country to give you money, all of you in America, I'm going to give money that's going to produce taxes for your country. I have to allow you to browse in my history. For what? For you to know that I like redheads and Asians? I can tell you that. Gingers are my doom. And almost all my girlfriends were gingers. And one of them was ginger and Asian. For God's sakes. But do you understand what I'm trying? This is a joke, okay? I'm joking, okay? I'm joking around. But what the fuck do they have to do that? The safety reasons. You might be a tourist. If I might be a tourist, then you have my bloody picture somewhere with my bloody name, and you know that I'm a tourist. Okay. What am I going to do? Steal your beer and your bacon? I like Canadian bacon, for example, but I don't like yours. And your beer tastes like fucking water. It's tasteless. Okay? And weak. Let's continue. But as a tourist, this is what I'm confronted with. I always look when I think I said this before. I always try to put myself in the other person's shoes, and I try to put myself in the shoes of a tourist, and to be confronted with all of this. When, for example, if I'm in the EU, I can grab my ID card, my my ATM card, for example, credit card, whatever, money, perhaps a EU. insurance card that is valid in all EU countries, but I can still get medical treatment all over the EU, paying the same that a local would pay with my income. I can do that. I can go from Lisbon to to Warsaw. I can go to Munich. I can go to Berlin. I can go to Leipzig. I can. Je peux aller à Paris. Okay. I can go to just next here. I love the I love the landscape and the sky and the sun and all of that here next door in Andalusia, Granada, beautiful town, beautiful place. Okay, I can do all of that, and you can drive, you can use public transportations, you can pay as little as I don't know 25, 30 euros up to 50 euros for a travel, a plane ride. Look, basically, I could get in a plane tomorrow in Lisbon or in Lisbon or Porto, Beja, Faro. I could any of those airports. You could get in a plane. I don't know 9 o'clock in the morning. You could be in Paris for lunch. You could have lunch in Paris, and you could come back in the evening if you have had money for it. Of course, I'm not some rich guy that can do that. Okay, I'm not. Most definitely not. But do you understand this? But look, you can get in your car with the adequate documents, okay? Because even though we are in the Schengen space, you need to know the rules in each country, okay? And this is not some kind of when I go to Spain, I'm in the Kingdom of Spain, okay? When I go to France, I'm in the French Republic, okay? When I go to Ireland, I go to the Republic of Ireland, okay? Do you understand? There are rules that I must follow. But I have this perk of, for example, like a lot of people that I know that just get in their auto caravans. There, I remember. They get in their auto caravans, okay? And then it's just right on, okay? They take a look to see where they can stay, where they can pass the night, where they can park their vans, or where they can do whatever they need to do, and all they need is China money to do it. Okay, nothing more. We have all of this freedom. Why would people go to the USA? Because it had interesting places to see. There are, if you like art, in New York and a lot of other places. Okay, music, culture, simple things. Okay, even some places with surprisingly friendly people and nice people. Okay, you. I will reiterate this because I don't think this was clear. When I say you American and do all of this criticizing, I'm criticizing those that need to be criticized. I'm not criticizing you that perhaps voted for Kamala or believe that you could not vote because none of the politicians particularly suited your voting needs. Let's call it like this. Look, or you that don't support all of this shit. I'm not talking to you, okay? I'm not talking to Bob that is working in a field and or Jose or whoever. I don't care. I'm not talking with you. I'm talking with these assholes, these idiots that are literally drowning your country. Because I sincerely believe that one of the major issues of the USA is a extreme, pardon me, an extreme lack of culture in the sense of a culture of education. Okay, you how can I put this without sounding pompous and all knowing that I am not? You lack a common sense in education. meaning you need to understand what is really happening around you. Okay, there is some conspiracy theory here, some conspiracy theory there, and too many of you get drawn to that. And the other ones, they simply don't bother to tell them off. Okay, and then instead of having one town village idiot, you have a crowd of town village idiots. And then suddenly you are outnumbered because all of the town villages, all of the town idiot villages, they went to vote and you didn't. And a lot of people preferred to vote in a person that is indicted. This is public. I'm not spreading any misinformation, any fake news, nothing like that. And as always, this is solely my own personal opinions. You have a person that was indicted for several crimes. You have a person that has a dubious ethical and moral compass to be to not be offensive, and you have a black woman that might be a bit off reality of the common Joe in the street, let's call it like this, but that is competent, that is intelligent, no doubt about it, that has a decent degree, not about degree, I will say no more, and that also would mean stability. Not perfection, but stability. And just because she's woman or because she's black, perhaps, you don't vote for her. You either don't vote or you go vote in the other guy. Does this sound normal to you? Look, this bond, and now let's go back to tourism because as always I have wandered off the topic. This bond, this aspect of tourism, whenever you see these numbers, you should really worry because when tourists stop coming, when the people that want to enjoy your country, enjoy the things that your country can give, enjoy the things that your country can sell, when tourists stop coming, that is the first hint that something is very wrong. Because those are, let's call it, the superfluous people. The people that have business interests and that are still making some money, they always continue to come. They will sell weapons to A or B. They will sell cucumbers and apples to whoever buys them if they make a profit about it. They always come. Okay? If you put tariffs of 50% on food goods and whatever, if you keep on buying them, they will ship them off. The only thing they will tell you is this is 50% more expensive because of your bloody government. Pay us this and we'll send you the goods. Simple as that. And I'm talking about the EU, I'm talking about China, I'm talking about Canada, I'm talking about everyone. As long as there is business, they go. If you pay it, who cares? The tourists only go if they have that I was talking about, that enjoy time, that nice time. Okay, people go to Cuba, and Cuba is not a very nice place in some aspects, okay? But people, from what I am told, are excellent people. Why? Because they know the tourists bring them money and they want the tourists to keep on coming. So they let the tourists have their downtime because they know that that person, if they have a good time, pardon me, they will come back again. And Don't look at this as some kind of servitude or peasant attitude because it's not. It's actually a very intelligent way. As I told you, I was into the tourism business. And a lot of times you just have to smile and continue. Oh, this bread is days weak. And you look at the person and you say what? No, that bread is fresh. You don't want it? Give it here. Here, take this one. There is no argument. Okay? Even if the customer is an idiot. What you will get is perhaps next time you won't serve them. You won't sell them anything. You will just tell them, I'm sorry, you said my bread wasn't good enough for you, so please leave the business. But you never, ever, uh, never be hostile. And this is exactly what these people in tourist venues do. But when you start to, I enter in the border, I don't know what the hell is going to happen to me. Of course, I'm not going to return. It's as simple as this, okay? And now, okay, European travels are skipping the US for surprising Canadian destination. Like I was telling you, this is happening right now. I have a girlfriend, a girl that is my friend, okay, that works in a travel agency, and she has told me this. Okay, people are going to Quebec, to Ottawa, from a lot of places. Look, they are talking about United Kingdom, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. There are also major tourist destinies too here. Yes, I heard about this. Outdoor explorers, culture seekers, refined globetrotters, and city trippers. Yes, Ottawa must be a nice place. Ontario, and these are important numbers, and please check them out. Okay, this is the travel, the www.thetravel.com. Okay, go visit the site. Their numbers are more or less in line with what the other numbers that I have seen. Sorry. 54% of travelers from Germany, the UK, and France are likely to consider a leisure trip to Ontario in the next 2 years. 50% of the above are considering visiting Toronto. 92% of the travelers from the UK, France, and Germany are aware of Ontario as a destination. 87% say Canada is appealing to visit in this zone and not solely a part of the North American vacation, which happened. And 69% of the travelers agree that the current political climate in the US makes them nervous. Okay, of course. I just don't like this because they then are asking these questions. Why are they shunning the USA? Like if no one was seeing what the hell is happening. This part I don't agree and I won't read it. Yes. Okay. I don't need no any more notes. Now, this is going to continue over time. I'm not saying that the US's tourism business is simply going to crumble and disappear or whatever. No, but a lot of people will lose their income. A lot of people will lose their way of living, and a lot of states will see the number of the value of their taxes crashing, and then the federal government is going to have to intervene. Even if it's a selective intervention, like Mr. Trump was saying, he's going to help the red states, he's not going to help the blue states, all of that crap. But sooner or later, the central state will have to invest money in those states. And meanwhile, the UK, sorry, British, The US has an astronomical debt that is, how can I say this? Is sustainable as long as you have a high income economy and an economy that's interlinked with other economies. Now, if you remove, let's talk about tourism, which is the subject of this video. You take away that slice of business, you take it away, and that no longer provides you income. So it's a little slice here, a little slice there. You have another slice, for example, in the farming products that used to go to USA that the government would pay and that then would create soft power and business opportunities outside of the US. You have that is gone. You have all of those farming products that used to go to China and that now China is sourcing from Canada, from Mexico, from Brazil, from Argentina, from all of those places, from Europe. Okay, you have the European countries that used to buy a lot of stuff from the USA that has better or equivalent options elsewhere. Okay, and they are not going to buy it. Look, I see it. I see it here every day. Okay, even the Coca-Cola and I will say brands right now because some people ask me about um, the American chocolates. Okay, that are and remember these are all. Just remember that all of these products that I'm going to tell you now about, they are all produced here in factories here in Europe. But things like Pepsi, Coca-Cola, fast food chains like McDonald's, like KFC, like all of that, their numbers of profits, at least according to the latest polls I saw around 2 months or something like that, they continue to crash. Car sales continue to crash. The media companies are being fined. I think only Microsoft has adapted, let's call it like this, their business model completely to European standards. And one more thing that is very important is that Microsoft did not went and kiss the ring, and Microsoft has massive investment in Europe. Here, right here in Portugal, it has a massive investment in university projects, in data centers, all of that. Okay, but those media companies are already been fined. Some of them might find themselves removed from the European markets. It will not be something new. It won't be. Other media companies have been removed. I think, for example, Rumble, I think, at least in the EU or in Portugal, I think, and in France. Look, it has happened before and it will happen after, okay? You saw what happened to Telegram, to that guy, the head of Telegram, which I don't know if he's still in jail. I think he has French nationality or is half French or something like that. I didn't really follow up on the story because I didn't really care about it. I don't use Telegram, never have, never will. But okay, but all of those media companies, they are going to lose contracts. They are always losing contracts. As far as I heard, they already lost contracts in Denmark, in Germany, in France, here in Portugal also. They are being replaced by alternatives. Even this one right here that we are talking, YouTube, will perhaps be forced to divide itself, let's call it like this, for a YouTube for Europe and a YouTube for the USA with different rules because the algorithm is not working. I know they are maybe they are being I think they are being investigated because no, right now some keywords in the algorithm that they are banning are inducting a type of censorship that is not allowed here. I don't look there for me, at least in my view. I have no issues with certain words to be banned for my videos, for example. to either not be monetized or to have over, not for children specifics, because I sometimes swear I talk about mature subjects. Okay, I have no issues about it, but the issue here is when this algorithm starts to shadow ban these videos, this type of videos, and that is not correct. That is censorship, and that is not allowed. So, but this is something for here. Right. What do I forecast about this tourism business? Look, if tomorrow the situation went back to normal, there will still be issues. And I think this is something that's going to be, if it recovers, it will take about a decade or two. So, anyone that is in the USA and living off tourism, my advice is to get another occupation, because I don't think this has in the future. But who am I? Right. I'm going to end the video. It has been very long. I'm a bit tired. I'm very sorry for not dropping a video, but I was not in any conditions to record anything. I recorded those two videos without any picture because I and even those took a bit out of me. But I'm going to try to record some contents over this week and into the weekend, and perhaps make a live in, as always, Saturday in the evening. Okay, around 9 to 10 in the evening, Portuguese time, which is the same as the UK time, for reference. Okay. Now, again, thank you all for the kind words. Thank you for listening to me, and please forgive any minor rant on my part, but I often rant. Okay. And as always, these are the noises of a normal urban area where we have people, we have animals, and we have children, and all of that. Okay.